Hey guys, James here. According to a recent poll that I put on my YouTube channel, if you saw it, you guys want me to take the Scott style of approach to starting to make Dead by Daylight content. Happy Halloween, by the way, at least when I'm recording this. Um, which is kind of the outcome I was hoping for. It's hard for me to speak right now because I just got back from a dentist appointment and my mouth is still recovering from the anesthesia. Um, I have I want to say about this game, Dead by Daylight, that is. And I I also believe this is probably the best approach for me to just get my ideas out here and there and make myself be heard. Just pumping out slot videos that are just me talking over gameplay footage. I don't have a webcam, so I can't put my face on the left side like Scott Jin does. But it'll probably feel empty if I don't. So I'm probably just gonna slap my gameplay over a picture of, I don't know, Pyramid Head or something. Yeah, that seems appropriate. Bill, maybe. That's how I kind of say that on my channel. Um, yeah, I'm bringing it over. Well, thank you for voting on that poll. So I get to what we're doing forward. And for my first video in this style, we were just given a pretty good topic of discussion, that being the upcoming PDB for tunneling changes. Very sorry in advance if my mic, if my voice sounds weird, quieter, louder at certain points. I'm just still new to this. My mic will still just be adjusting. But yeah, tunneling PTB. For those who, I'm sure you remember how in the previous PTB with Senator Grace chapter, the dev tried to go for similar changes, stuff that would promote spreading hooks and discourage tunneling. Um, but they ended up going really overboard with that. So the changes did not go live and were pushed to have a second variation for the next PTB, which we're going to be dealing with soon. Um, there also are some other changes like camping changes, which are also going to be important, and uh, Skull Merchant buff. I'm probably not going to talk about the Skull Merchant buff because I'm not good at Skull Merchant. I don't have the brain to play her. I feel like I don't have a say in how much they help her. I would just take Pickle Bush's word for it. That's probably gonna be okay for the time being. I just know that she kind of needed it. But right back to the timeline. I'm kind of going off of memory here. The dev said that. So what's going to happen in the PTB, which is just a chain, but it's important to get your feedback out while the PTB is gonna happen, so that they know what to change. So what's on the PTB is that Survivor, there were only two measures in effect to, okay, I guess I should say, there's one measure in effect to discourage tunneling, and one measure in effect to encourage spreading hooks. On the killer side, they are encouraged to spread hooks by getting a bloodlust, I almost got confused for blood point, a bloodlust bonus, actually there is a blood point bonus, a bloodlust bonus for 15 seconds, I believe, every time they get a hook on a survivor that is not the last one they hooked. There is also a blood point bonus where if every unique hook gets you extra blood point, which is perfectly fine. I would probably wish it was 50 billion instead of 750, but you take what you can get. Uh, um, the blood point is fine, and I do like the idea of the bloodlust. It which it it goes away if you try to use your killer power. So killers use mobility. Don't really get anything out of it. Because they're just gonna, I probably just gonna start running their chainsaw immediately, so they won't get extra speed from the bloodlust. Meanwhile, someone like Nemesis, who doesn't have a mobility power, will just get a help for his little trek across the map to patrol the gens for the next 15 seconds. They have also gone on record that the bloodlust will will dissipate if you enter a chase, which is different from the usual bloodlust, which is built up when you're in a chase. I don't like the idea of that, but they also said in the live stream that the in-house testing version uh had that feature, in that continuing the in that entering a chase with the on hook bloodlust would build up from there, and it was apparently too oppressive. I kind of wish that we got to test out on that we got to test out on the PTB. Maybe it would have been too oppressive, but at least we would get to see for ourselves that it would be. Um, I don't know. I just kind of I guess if the devs themselves like even considered it too strong, maybe I can kind of see how like the extra faster build up would maybe be a bit harmful, but the point is, despite all that yapping is did, the on hook benefits that killer get are minimal compared to the um discouragement tunneling that mean the extra unhook protection that survivors get. Let me think. There are the elusive stats that come from the game, which is just survivor undetectable. You can't have your aura red. You don't leave scratch marks. You don't leave pools of blood. You don't make noise. There's also a secondary effect that's not tied elusive in that you won't cough like under the effect of any killer infection like nemesis or plague. Bill can probably finally get his smoking habits in check, I guess. The haste and endurance last a full 30 seconds, which is, triple the prior 10. And for 10 seconds of getting unhooked, you will see the killer's aura if they're within 32 meters. Now, from what I saw in the like developer preview that they showed on stream, that aura was in white, which usually like means that it's which from the one killer with a who's real by a white aura we have in the game right now, that'd be Springtrap. It should bypass the effect of undetectable, meaning that you will see their or if you unhooked, you will see the killer's aura within 10 meters, even if they have any way to hide their aura. Maybe blindness counteracts it because it apparently counteracts Springtrap's aura reading. Um, Stir Seagull stock go up, I guess. Um, which all in all, and of course, it's important notion that when all dinner is completed, the unhook protection go back to just being the current 10 seconds of haste and endurance with no other benefits, which makes sense, I guess. Okay, all in all, I think this is a step in the right direction, but I'm a little torn. I actually thought that the first of all the bloodlust. I actually thought the bloodlust was a really smart way to circumvent the problem with haste that came from the prior PTB, in that like an A plus or S tier killer would still get who had insane malleability would be able to move even faster thanks to the haste if they use their power. Like a blight with haste is faster than a blight without haste even when they're using their power. Um so like the bloodlust that is foregone whenever you use your power seems smart on paper, but I watched another video by another YouTuber that like about these changes that point out the fact that this inadvertently means that the S tier killers who already are pretty good at tunneling don't have a reason to engage with the mechanic, and that there was no that's just completely correct. I don't, I can't believe I didn't think of that myself, and it I feel like that goes to show that there's probably the killer side probably needs one more benefit to unique hook. I do think Bloodlust is fine, even if it might discourage um the higher teacher interacting with it. But the survivor getting more unhook protections should circumvent that a little bit. I if anything, I would like to see the return of the base kit pop goes the Weasel mechanic from the prior version. Um I wouldn't think no to like taking it down to half pop gold wheel instead of full pop gold wheel like it was in the prior PTB. 10% of gen max progress for your next kick when you get a unique hook instead of full 20. Because the ore reading would be something that only the best killer would be able to make use of, especially considering how far away it would activate, like beyond 40 meters. Um Yeah, no, none of the B tier and below killers are going to be able to have the mobility to make use of that information, even with the um the bloodlust bonus. So yeah, honestly, just once you have that going, I think you're kind of in the right. You're kind of good for the tunneling as far as tunneling goes. So either harder to tunnel, but it's are still tunnelable, and you can tunnel without um shooting yourself in the foot for the sake like for the sake of getting a kill early, like how last TTB would give you. Um, yeah, okay. I started with the tunneling thing because despite having to spend past 10, 8, whatever minutes talking about them, there's what I had the least to talk about. What I have to talk about next is the slugging stuff, which is probably what I have the most to talk about, or at least I have a firm idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to slugging changes. They are once you've been slugged for a total of half of your bleed out bar, for a total of 120 seconds, you will be able to pick yourself up for as long as you are fully recovered. Uh, and it builds up faster if multiple survivors are being slugged at a time. So if all four survivors are down at once, their recovery bar will fill twice as fast. Um, I the thing that always got me about the slugging thing is that there seems like a really obvious way to like promote short-term slugging for pressure over like long-term slugging, and that like I okay, what I'm gonna okay, I was gonna go into this like explaining why I don't think it works and getting my preferred solution, but I think I'm not gonna do my preferred solution right now. What I would make the timer shorter, like 90 or maybe even like 70 seconds, but the resolve bar for slugging only fills up while you are fully recovered, and then while you are at the point where you have cannot recover anymore or need someone else to pick you up. Like this way, you don't build up your meter if you're being slugged short term, like because someone's hovering around for a pal or flashlight save and need to be chased away or down first. Um, and it makes it such that like if the killer is forced to slug more extensively, they aren't just kind of automatically fucked, like by Stabble squads and such. Um, um, Aside of that, I'm kind of on board with the idea of like faster recovery for every down survivor. Um, so I'd probably just make it only apply to like the if the third and fourth survivors are also being slugged, or more than anything, if I feel I'm not smart enough for this, but I think there's some way to address the fact that like slugging gets bad when like start being slugged across the map from each other, and get to the point where and like it's only at that point where survivors realize that the killer's not hooking, and they start picking up. Um, if two survivors go down right next to each other, it's probably because like one went down or pallet, the other was hovering around for a flashlight or pallet save and got too greedy. Um, it's what it, like it's when they're separated. Like when sluggers are separated, it's a problem. Like I don't know if there was some way to make it such that um you know um the extra recovery only applies once or like the extra progress um to your level bar for slugging only applied for every survivor that was outside a certain range of you that's being slugged. Um that seems smart. Like actually, why did I say that I didn't have an idea for do that? It seemed like I think yeah, just do that. Just for every survivor outside of say 24 meters of each, for every slug survivor that is beyond 24 meters of each other, the recovery bar fills up like shit, man. 50, you can make a 50% factor at that point. Um, we'll also add a bit more finesse to the like the micro scale knowledge of when to crawl, when to recover. Like, um, uh, like oh shit, I got down kind of close to that guy with the but the killer's leaving us both to go slug them out. I'm gonna try to crawl away from them so that we can build a resolve bar together. Yeah, doesn't that just make sense? Um, yeah, resolve bar filled after like 80 seconds down with your a total of 80 seconds down while you are fully recovered. Um, but like not picked up yet. So it makes short term slugging okay, it makes long term slugging a no go. Um, like you can put down like 60 seconds or something at that point. I get the okay. What's the final thing we have to talk about? The camping changes. I actually spent a lot less time on the slugging changes than I did on turtling. The camping changes, for example, the anti-camp bar will feel slower, but activates in a wider range. If the longer the killer is in the range, the faster the bar fills, and all survivors can see the unhook bar, like the reload bar for a hook survivor. For that last bit, thank fucking god, this was something that should have done 15 years ago. And so it was so obnoxious to be face camped by someone and have your bar be like a microsecond filling up, only for a noob Claudette to run up to the hook because she didn't realize that there was a that the wraith in front of you was undetectable and invisible, and go down because she just got scared. Not only is your resolve bar not only did the killer get a free down out of it, but your resolve bar is not feeling because there's now a slug survivor right in front of you. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I do acknowledge that, like, I have seen a bit of concern that the wider range could lead to problems on maps with multi floors, but there's already a system in place. I don't know if you know this, but there's already a check to make sure that you're on the same the same elevation. I guess more like the anti-cannon range is more of a bubble. It's not like a square; it's a bubble, and the farther so even if you're on another floor, you'll still farther away the game recognizes you being farther away from that hook. Um, so it won't fill up that fast. Unless they're getting rid of like the whole thing where the bar also fills faster with proximity, which I don't think they are. But if they don't prove so much, well, they'll always change it to like 18 meters or even revert it back to 16 meters. Um, I do hope that there at least a system in place to let the killer know that they are within the range of the resolve meter. Not they definitely shouldn't be routine the resolve meter itself because that way they can kind of they can skirt just around it. Um, like they'll see him on death hook, they'll just still proc him just enough so that like the meter doesn't go all the way to full, but but then they dive in to space camp right when they're about to die, so they don't get the whatever. And so such that if they ever paused while they were close by, they would or slowed down they were close by, they would know that maybe there's another survivor around, which would be free information for them. Yeah, just I don't know. What I would do is just make it such that you see the aura of the hooked survivor if you are within the anti-camp range. Like right now, you just see the aura of the hook itself. Just see the aura of the survivor too if you're within range of the camp thing activating, and I think we're good to go. Was there anything else in the camping thing that I feel like I'm missing a part of the camping change? The wider range, the hook unhook bar showing faster. I mean, I haven't really talked about the faster build up while for longer you are there, but like that's just kind of counteracting camping because camping is a thing that they near for a while. That seems right to me. That's generally what I have to say. Tunneling changes just need the tiniest benefit to the killer side. Slugging changes just make it a shorter timer that relies around full recovery, and camping changes just let the killer know when they're too close to survivor. That's all I have to talk about. This I hope my opinions are coherent and smart, and you tell me as much in the comments. I'm really interested in doing more videos like this, just to put my thoughts out there. That's about it. See ya.